Hello and welcome to Eye of the Beholder on the Commodore Amiga. I'll be doing a let's play of this game and we'll see how I end up doing after the intro. One thing before we start, this is the AGA version, which means it has an automap and more colors than the original Amiga version. The automap is very handy because otherwise I would get lost even more frequently than I'll get lost now. So let's get going and start a new party. Now, I like this role-playing system, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, but it is very old, so there are some things that might not be intuitive in there. If we come across them, I'll explain them. I could pick any class here, but the first guy I'm going to create is going to be a paladin, because I just rather like having a paladin in my party. Basically just fighters, but don't tell them that. Let's see. Look. There's a good one. Now, I could re-roll until I get stats that I like, but I'm not going to. In fact, I'm going to use the modify option, and I'm going to modify all the stats to maximum. Now, you might think this is cheating, and to a point you'd be right, but the game is really rather difficult. And, well, I do want to be able to finish it. This will cut down a little bit on the resting, and it'll make some of the fights a bit easier. But it won't stop me from getting in trouble or potentially dying, so don't worry about that, there's plenty of that. One more interesting thing, you can see here that there's this number, that's the percentile going up after the 18. So up to 18 it acts as a normal strength, going up, more powerful. But TSRI decided that they didn't like players getting more than 18, but still wanted to give the fighters a bonus. So fighter types can have a percentile die in addition to the 18, which gives them even more damage until they get a Ring of Strength. Another thing you might notice is that the AC goes down as my dexterity goes up. This is not a bug. In Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, a lower AC is better, with 10 being pretty poor and minus 10 being just about as good as you're gonna get. So, with that out of the way, less explanation will be needed next as we go on to our next character. This is going to be Elmore. Next up, we want a clerk. Now, any race will do, but I'm going to be picking an elf. Why? I like the idea of having an elf in the party, and if my cleric dies, it doesn't really matter that the AD&D rules prevent elves from being resurrected, because if my cleric dies, I've pretty much lost to begin with. So, another lawful good one. Let's see, I think... there we are. Nice and prototype elf-like. Elves have slightly different modifiers, so the dexterity will be 1 point higher. Not that it really matters, as you can see the AC stays the same, and the constitution will be 1 point lower, which means slightly less hit points. For the purposes of this game, well, most stats are completely irrelevant anyway. Dex is useful, strength is useful, con is useful, and the rest I'm not so sure it's actually being used all that much. But here we are with our cleric. And this is going to be Selena. Next up, I want a wizard. First time I played this game, the wizard was basically me. I wanted to play the wizard and everything else didn't really matter. It's called a mage, same difference. Also lawful good. Let's see if we can find a nice wizardy kind of deal. We'll take him. He looks nice. Again, maxing out the stats. Not that it's all that important. Wizards don't get additional spells for higher intelligence, for instance. I do think the saving throws, the enemy have to go slightly up, but there's not much in it. 18 hit points. And this will be Durgan. Durgan, yes. Welcome, Durgan. And last but not least, I could do a lot of things here, but I prefer having a thief. Not because you actually really need a thief all that much, but I just like the role-playing aspect of having the 4 archetypes in my party. So here we go with our thief. Dwarven female, let's see. There's not really that many dwarven pictures, so we'll just pick any old thing. That we also happen to find not completely hideous. Con and Dex are swapped from the elf here. And because she has a high constitution, she gets more hit points than the clerk, which is interesting. And this will be Liana. So that's our party of brave adventurers who went into the sewers at Waterdeep. Let's see how this extremely well prepared party deals with what happens next. And here we are in Eye of the Beholder. Now, it's a basic dungeon crawler with a pseudo 3D kind of picture. I'll try to use the mouse mostly because I can use the keyboard, but you might not be able to see in what direction I go all the time. Lots of these graphics look fairly similar. Collecting the rocks is a good idea, by the way. We're gonna need them later. And yeah, they also give us something to throw. Now, our incredibly well-prepared party came with no spells memorized, no spells prayed for, and 1 ration. Now, that's not going to do very long. So, first things first, we're going to memorize some spells. Later on, we might need Detect Magic and or Shield. Shocking Grasp is completely pointless unless your wizard is in the front line. which he should never be. So we're going to go with Magic Missile. Well, we've got only one choice here, Mel's Acid Arrow, which is a pretty horrible spell. But then again, wizards are not that good the first 2 or 3 levels. It starts getting interesting for a wizard when they reach level 5, as we'll see when we get there. Now, the Cleric, on the other hand, she has more spells available right off the bat. We're going to go with one party buff, the Bless spell, which gives us a slight bonus when attacking things. She also has Detect Magic and Protection from Evil, which we're not going to be using for the time being. Cure. Now here, lots of spells. Most of them are completely pointless. The Flame Blade is slightly better than the Morning Star she's using, but not by much. Aid is too temporary to really be any good, and Slow Poison is incredibly useful, but not on this level. However, Hold Person can be useful, so that's what we're going to take. Now then, our Paladin over here can also pray for spells, but only if he reaches level 9, which he isn't going to be for quite some time. One last thing to do. I don't like bar graphs for hit points, so we're going to go with digits instead. We're almost ready. We do want to rest, but we can't, because monsters are near. You can hear them in the background there. Now, let's see what we got here. Oh, these things like grates, etc. The first time you click on them, you get a tiny bit of experience, and every little bit helps, so keep clicking. Yeah, this halfling, probably thief, died here because he couldn't figure out how to get through this door, or alternatively he didn't know how to get out of that grating at the back, both of which aren't speaking highly of him. Now there is here our first enemy, a kobold, and we missed him, and he didn't miss us. Now these are not very difficult to defeat. I'm not too worried. But it did remove the one enemy, so we can now rest, which is excellent news. Notice that the healing is ridiculously slow unless your cleric uses her healing spells in this case, because you get 1 hit point per day. So if you got Elmore here at -9, the lowest he can go before he's really, really dead, instead of just unconscious, it's going to take you roughly 50 days to get him back alive without your clerk. So, yeah. Also, we're going to save here. Not that we really need to, but I can show off here that there's 1 save slot, which is great in an RPG. Just 1. Doesn't matter that this is the hard disk version. Does this on DOS as well. Just 1 save slot, which is awesome, I suppose, in its own right. No, I don't want to quit. I want to go and get playing. First off, here's the map. This wasn't in the base game. We got it here. It's useful. I'm going to be using it a lot because I'm going to get lost a lot. Let's open the door. I played this game for hours. I had so much fun getting lost, getting spun around by spinners, hit by teleporters, but it was all worth it. Basically, I like this game a lot. It is difficult though. Now, come on. We do have spells this time, so let's try them. And this was a very effective spell, as you can see. The monsters are no longer doing anything. Pity that our mage has this as a spell, which can't even manage to... Oh, come on. Kill them. And instantly we're into one of the nicer parts of this game. This on the floor here is a ration. And we're going to be taking it because we've got no food with us because we're silly and only took enough food for a day or so. However, as you could see during the intro, this is not just a floor, it's wet. And it's a sewer. And we're picking up food from it and eating it anyway. So yeah, doesn't pay to be an adventurer, I suppose. This is, by the way, another piece of lovely, yummy food we're going to take. Look, it even looks terrible compared to the food we took along ourselves. And only now I can... Look, I've played this game for ages, and this is the first time I actually noticed that these are packages. Look, there's a little wrapping around it. Oh, that's funny. Makes it slightly less gross, I suppose. I suppose we're going to have to think that the packaging is water resistant there. Anyway, pressure plate, first of many, many, many. Closes the door. We can't open it from here, so we're trapped with these terrible monsters. Whatever shall we do? Oh. Throw one of our... Oh, we're great at throwing. Come on. Thank you. Yes, let's see. These kobolds do have one greater purpose. They're an excellent way for us to get more knives, which is good, because that allows us to... Ah, yes, of course, we can give our thief that. I still don't understand why they give the thief the axe and the paladin the sword. Maybe it's because I picked the dwarf. Look at this difficult puzzle. Oh dear. It dropped again. Whatever is the meaning of this? Of course, we're supposed to just put something on the trapdoor here. But before we do that, it always pays to check if there's anything else here. Ah, the game even gives you a rock, just in case you lost one. Didn't have one here, so that you can't get stuck. It doesn't do that all the time, by the way, so eventually you're going to get to a point where you are going to get stuck if you didn't bring your rocks. Hoarding is encouraged in this game. And my wizard, poor Durgan, he is going to be our rock carrier for the time being. Now, this first level is not that interesting, but it does give a nice... You know, I do kind of like it, even though it doesn't have that much in it. It's a nice introduction. See, it teaches a great many things, like this here hidden button. That's nicely done. And that brings us back to the other side of a door that we couldn't open. So that's nice. It also teaches you how to navigate. Teaches you about all the buttons there are. Yeah, it is kind of nice, but these RPGs, they usually are a bit slow to pick up. But the thing is, this was quite something back in the day. If you've ever played this originally, you know it. The RPGs before this were so much less pretty. I'm not saying that that is the only thing that's important, but it really did make a massive difference here. I mean, it looks completely horrible these days, but back then, a full 3D dungeon to crawl around in. This was incredible. Where are we going here? All right, let's move. Oh yes, this is a room that I've been in before, and I never really got it. Because there's a button here that you can use to open or close, but there's nothing else here, you see? There's not even a secret wall. Yeah. Oh, I do see on the map now that we forgot something up north. Perhaps we should check that out before we leave. Yeah, let's do that. And now it drops closed again. Sure. Open this, I think. Oh no, this was not the right place. No, go away. I hate you, not because you're dangerous, but look at him. That's a leech. And it's a giant one at that. It's the stuff of nightmares, really. When it attacks, I mean, ugh. It's even slightly scarier on the non-AGA version because then they didn't have enough reds left, so it has a much brighter red mouth. And bad stuff. So, yeah, this isn't where I thought we were. Is there more of them? Oh, no, we're not going there. That's the... You see, that is the exit. And we're only going to the exit once we've done everything. Oh, rotating instead of moving. Well, let's see. One useful ability is a heal. I'm not quite sure how much hit points it does, but it's quite something for the level. Now, I was lost. Yeah. It's a long way back. I'm not sure there is actually anything of interest up there, but we're gonna check it out. I mean, it's always nice to do a little bit more than is strictly needed, I suppose. This is not it. No! Haha! See, I told you I'd get lost. Open sesame. No, I think this is the place. Heading all the way back here now. Yeah, we got there. Ooh, a rune. We can't read it. It says something like access or something, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm not entirely certain what the point of it is. But, yeah, it's this empty room here that gives us nothing. Okay. Yeah, I was right. Now to get back where we were. Let's see. I think this is the short route. This is still open. And now we're here. We didn't go into here yet. So this is where we're going to go now. We're nearly done with visiting everything on this level. The next level is quite a big step up in difficulty. But for now it's still nice and easy. More of them. I was wondering where they were. You could hear them. Oh yeah. Let's see. A scroll of armor. A scroll... Oh no, you're not a clerk. You can't use that. But you can. And more importantly, I think he can as well. So that paladin is a kind of a backup clerk, which can be useful and makes my choice of an elf for a clerk less optimal, because now my paladin can't res her even if I manage to find a scroll of raise dead. And my next spell, and it does absolutely nothing. Exploring this is useful, by the way. There are quite a few rooms that are completely optional. Wait. Yeah. But that's not necessary. Oh, it just goes in a big circle. Huh. Well, that means we're just done. So much for anything exciting here. This is the final puzzle for this level, and oh look, the door's closed and it won't open again. And here's a button we can press to open it again, but now it closes again. So yeah, my thief is going to be the archer. The solution is not that difficult, turns out. If you weigh it down with this pebble here, you can open it. And it just works. So that was the first level. Apart from one last thing, the copy protection. So time to get out my manual. The page with that symbol. Let's see. Found it. Oh, that's nice. line number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be. And it is. So this is level 2. And yeah, we're going to drop off for now. So next time we'll continue on this level and we'll see if we can do that in one episode as well. It starts getting difficult fairly rapidly after this point, so we won't be doing one level per session every time, but I'll do my best to get us ahead in the game quickly. Should be interesting. We're going to get much better spells. We're going to get new party members. We're going to be fighting strange creatures. It's an interesting game. It's fun to play. I hope you want to watch me play it with you. Here is the key to one of these doors here. And we'll figure out what to open next time.